Recently, I had this experience where someone started treating me like I was such a problem, even though I knew I was not doing anything wrong. I was actually doing everything right and going above and beyond. I put my heart and my soul into what I was doing. This is also not the first time that people have had problems with me and they've tried to put me into this light where I need to be fixed or there's something like inherently just wrong with me. I was like, okay, why does this keep repeating in my life? Because I'm the common denominator here. And if you were to explain these things, like these things I've experienced, let's just say in the last year, with certain people would say, well, what is going on? I don't understand why you keep running into situations like this. And for a long time I was like, well, yeah, I don't know either. But I decided to reflect on why this does keep occurring in my life. I do believe that like things repeat in your life until you learn the lesson. But I'm also way more aware of why these situations keep happening to me. Why do I keep attracting this kind of situations? My conclusion was that no, I'm not the problem, but I am the trigger point to trigger this pattern within other people. This pattern was the same with all these different people I've encountered, but the behavior came out differently. Being aware of this actually gave me a lot of confidence. I feel like I'm already pretty rooted in myself. I feel very rooted in myself. I know who I am and I know my heart and my soul. And I think it's very disheartening when you know you are a good person and you're knowing you're doing a task or a job or whatever it is to the best of your ability and someone is trying to paint you in a light that's not you. And I feel like it's very destabilizing. You could start to question yourself. And I think it's good to reflect on all that. But at the same time, if you know this is not you, it's good to separate who you are versus someone else's projection. People's projections, even if we know who we are, they still can seep into our core. It's very beneficial to be aware of people like this and to be aware how a lot of people operate. Going forward, if you're aware of this, if you can identify the behavior, it cannot destabilize you. It kind of take you away from yourself. So there's many behaviors and reasons why I think that people act like I need adjustment. I feel like I've gotten certain opportunities because I don't operate in a way that society typically operates on average. I think at first when you are a bit of an outlier or you stand out in a certain way, people can be attracted to that. I guess they can be a little bit magnetized to that. You can get opportunities. I find a lot of these incidences is where people have been just like overwhelmingly kind and overwhelmingly generous and really just like praising me and praising my skills. A lot of the times like people have hidden motives when it comes to these, let's just say, jobs I've applied to. Like it's been different situations, but sometimes it's been a job and it's like I applied and I wouldn't have gotten an interview if I didn't have the qualifications, and I do have the qualifications. But then it's like, okay, well, someone has a FaceTime with me or something, and let's, as an example, like say they're attracted to me and they see that as an opportunity, a possible opportunity for them. And that's just one example. There's so many different examples. But the truth is, like, so many people do have hidden motives. And when they find out that you are not an easy target, I think I come across as a very easy target for people, because when I'm having any first interactions with people, like I'm just a very, very friendly person. Like I'm very kind, and I think I actually come across like very bubbly at times, like very overly kind. I think that partly because of my morals, and I think it's also partly because I just feel like the world can be really rough, and if I can brighten someone's day by just being like overly cheerful, I don't know why like I do that. Maybe that's two reasons. I'm sure there's like a million other psychological reasons why I'm just so overly bubbly. I think when I just run to random people, I'm like, hi, how are you? But I think that also translate as like, oh, naive, like she's so kind to everyone. But the thing is, for me, like I'm kind to people, and then I have this backbone that I had to learn that will come up, and people don't expect that. Sometimes when you have that backbone, they see like, okay, it's not going to be easy at least to walk over this person. It's not going to be easy to take what I want. I'm not going to be able to like psychologically manipulate this person so easily, or not at all. I'm not going to be able to get what I want. Then they tend to like flip on you, and it seems so dramatic when these people like tend to flip on you. Sometimes this rejection, when someone's rejected by you, they can start to treat you like there's something wrong with you. Every time I have rejected someone, I've seen people's true faces, like, oh, well, you're not that pretty anyways, or they're just like say the most ridiculous things. But then there's more extreme cases where people will just try to lash out on you and just treat you like you're a problem in whatever way that is. And going back to this job example, say you did get a job that you were completely qualified for, but someone had other intentions for you. For example, say if someone hired you because they're like, hey, well, maybe I can sleep with this person. And in their head, like, that's why they hired you. But in reality, on paper, that was not the agreement. So you really just like are just doing your job, but they could feel like you owe them something, because in their head, that's what they were wanting to get from the situation. And they can feel like, okay, well, you owe me because I gave you this position, or I gave you this job and I didn't get what I want. So I'm going to try to control you and take from you. And the only way I can take from you is to try to like ruin your reputation, to tear you down, or to do something vindictive to you, or again, treat you like the problem. Many people have been just bothered in general by the way I operate, the way I tend to live my life. I follow my own rhythm. I follow my own soul. Like, I create when I want to create. I don't follow anyone else's structure. When I want to look good, I put myself together in ways I want to do it and I look good. But there's days I don't, and I go like that for days and days and days, and I don't wear makeup. I hardly wear makeup in certain days, and then on some days I want to do this, and it's very like unpredictable. I'm a million different versions of myself. I have all these different sides to me, all these different elements to me, and sometimes like I'll show one version of myself. It's a weird, but it's so common how people are irritated with that. Like, why don't you just get up the same time every day? Or why don't you do this routine? Like, have the same routine where you eat the same thing every day. Like, I'm unpredictable even to myself, but I like that. That's how the creative process for me, that's how I actually elevate faster. That's the rhythm I follow, and people don't like that, especially when it comes to like my introversion. People are like, why don't you need other people to sustain yourself? It bothers people. They have something to say about it. They tell me there's something wrong with me. I need help. They point me, okay, well, you must be depressed. I'm not, though. It's just like my way of operating is completely different than what society's way of operating is. A lot of people do not value what I value, and that's okay. It's not that one way of living is better than the other, but society is transactional, and society does reward usefulness, efficiency, outcomes, like over humanness. It's not wrong to expect someone to do their job. Going back to the example of a job, like this can be in many different situations. It's not wrong to expect that of someone. But at the same time, what people expect from other humans is not often the reality of what's asked of them. It's their interpretation of the expectation. This leads people to treat other people as inhumane when they're not getting what they want. It creates this resentment with other people. When you're not being as valuable as someone thought you could be to a certain position, a certain role, whatever that is, then that person might start treating you as if you're invaluable. Because of this pent-up resentment, like someone could start treating you as, oh, well, there's something wrong with you, and they could start attacking your core self. But the thing is, your value does not come from your usefulness to another human being. When someone operates from such a transactional place, that person is not going to care about your core self. They're not going to care about your heart. They are going to look at you of like, okay, well, this is a transaction. What can I take from you? And that's the thing about why some people are nice, because it's like feeding the pigs before you slaughter them. It's milking you so you can get as much as they can get, as much as they want from you, and see if they can get extra. But the second that no longer exists, that opportunity doesn't exist, and they become aware, I can't get anything from that person, there's nothing here to harvest, there's nothing more to harvest from this person, then of course they're going to disregard you. The reason that most people are like this is because most of the jobs and today in society, it's working within a system, and these systems always have this order. This order is a transactional, systematic way. The faster to climb that ladder, when you are willing to be more transactional, in a lot of cases, you can usually climb the ladder and then you benefit. So that conditions people over time and affects our psychology. My brother actually just called me yesterday, and we had this conversation, and he was like, you would not believe what happened to me at work. So my brother's an engineer, and he manages a team. He was telling me about how he gave this guy some leeway because he was having some problems at home when his kid was really sick or something like this. He was giving him leeway with lunch breaks or whatever it was, I forget, but he was not reporting him when typically like he should have been reported. And now this guy went in and tried to get my brother in trouble. My brother was literally just trying to show heart and to show soul in this workplace. And then what did this guy do? He went and backstabbed him for no reason. Like there was no reason for him to do this. Like he was trying to help him. They had to report it all to HR just because of technicalities and all of this stuff. And my brother was not doing anything wrong. He was just trying to lead a team with heart and soul. And I said, when it comes to your own companies one day, because he just views this and his job as a stepping stone, I said, when it comes to making your own companies, you're going to be an excellent leader because you have that empathy and you look at other people as human, and you're going to have an amazing team. And my grandfather's business was the exact same way. He has his morals and principles for many reasons, probably because of that. My grandfather is no longer living, but his company is alive, and everyone that has ever worked there since the day he started this. He was a real entrepreneur, but he had the character and the heart and the soul. It's so rare to see that. So rare to see people run companies and to have systems where you have the heart and the soul. What I'm trying to say is that it's not even measurable. Most of these systems, they don't value the heart. The system that my brother was in, they did not value the heart. The employee did not value the heart and the soul. So he broke a little bit of the system's rules by being bendable, giving this person extra lunchtime or whatever, that he didn't value the heart and the soul. And even though that's the most valuable thing a human can have, is that soul and that heart. The systems don't value that. And so what do humans learn? Okay, well, my brother had to learn, okay, well, I have to take that away now. You lost your privileges. I told my brother, like, well, you're just going to have to understand that, like, you are in this system. There's people you have to report to. If you're sacrificing yourself for other people, and they're just not even valuing it, they're not even appreciating it, because a lot of people don't appreciate heart and soul, then you're just going to have to be like, okay, well, that's fine. You want to be transactional, let's be transactional. I said, you know what? One day you're going to be an excellent leader because you can lead with heart and souls. It's just that the systems don't reward it. People think you need to walk over people to get ahead, but you don't. Most businesses today, their employees don't give a shit. They're just going for the money. They don't care. Like, so many employees steal from the businesses. The etiquette is so toxic in so many workforces. With my grandfather's business, no one has ever quit to this day. People have been working their entire lifetimes. The secretary has been working since she was right out of high school. She started working in high school, I believe. And they're like family. They know me. Like they're like family to me. And I could go there and I know they all know me. And when my grandfather died, there was a funeral and there was hundreds of people. A lot of people, they could build the CEO of the richest thing in the world, but no one shows up to their funeral. Why? Because there was no heart and soul. People like to discredit the heart and soul, and within the systems it's not valuable, but that does not mean it's not valuable in general. Compromising your heart and your soul might get you ahead. You'll learn in life, you will learn that people don't value it, but that does not mean it's not valuable. And at the end of the day, no matter how someone tries to paint you in some kind of light, if you have that sense of self and the moral compass, you are rich, you are abundant, because you have something that they can't have. Brings me to the next point of, sometimes this is why people actually attack you, because they see you have something that money can't buy. They see you have something that they really can't take away from you. That's why people sometimes try to attack you, because they could see you have a good heart. They can see that you are not swayed by things that 95% of people are swayed by. And when they can see that, it like triggers them. It's like, how does your self-worth not attached to money? How are you not impressed by money? Like, when people have money, a lot of the times everyone gets money in different ways. In today's age, it's actually easier to get money. It's no longer a measure indication of someone's hard work. Like in the past, having money used to go to these people and they would have a matching mindset. But today, a lot of the times, it's easier to get money if you're willing to sell out, if you're willing to sell your soul. There's a reason why some of the most intellectual people, they struggle with money. I actually struggled a lot with finances and money, because there's things I'm not willing to do for money, because I don't put money as a god. But a lot of people and a lot of men do put money as a god. And when you don't have money as a god, and it's like, it doesn't impress them. So they could be showing me, oh, look at my cars. I don't give a shit. Like, I literally don't give a shit. Like, show me your heart. And that freaking threatens them because you're not impressed by something so external, and so they have to attack your sense of self. So another reason why people have a problem with me, people paint me as, oh, I'm the problem, I'm not the problem, is because I really do spend a lot of time in introspection, and I guess you could say isolation, but I don't feel isolated. So I think the richer your inner life is, the less you perform externally. If I am creating something, there's no separation. Yes, maybe I wear makeup or whatever and show a certain side. I'm not trying to be anyone but myself. I'm trying to be more of myself. I also think that when someone sees one side of you, they don't realize like you are a whole human being and that there is other aspects to you. There is less energy going into performing of sometimes how you look. When someone's performing and you don't match that level of performance, it really does irritate those that are performing. In the last year, there's 2 people that have said to me, I need help. Like, they literally said the words, you need help, because I spend so much time alone. I just don't see that as a problem. It's just a completely different way of operating. So for me, that was just like, okay, I can kind of laugh at that. But I just found like, wow, what you start looking at it as like not attacking myself. And if you didn't know yourself, you could start to question, well, do I need help? Like, am I broken? Is there something wrong with me? But it's okay to be different, and it's okay to not operate like how society operates. I would say it's actually good to not operate how 95% of society is, because look at what is normalized today. Look at what's normal today. That is the average society. And I feel like this is not people today is a result of the conditioning. It's a result of these systems and how these people operate. But I just don't think that that is the healthiest way that humans should be. Actually, growing up, I felt very, very judged because of this. I mean, I used to think something might be wrong with me because growing up, my mom used to say, what is wrong with you? You know, you sleep so much. You are not obsessed with cleaning. Like, I love a clean space. I operate so much better. I think anyone operates better when their environment is nice, but I'm not like a clean freak. I'm not compulsively obsessed with cleaning. I can put dishes in the sink and leave them all day, and I just will do it all before I go to sleep. I don't need to, every time I see something, like go obsessively clean it. And I think a lot of people that are like that, like obsessively cleaning, it's because they want control, and it's because maybe they don't know how to sit with themselves. I realized that my energy is just more consumed with, I have things going on in my head. I have things that I'm trying to understand and process, and sometimes like I have ideas or thoughts that are coming to me. So my energy is less focused on my external environment, and that doesn't mean I'm careless or I'm carefree, because to other people, they have called me, okay, well, you're aloof, you're this. No, actually, I'm extremely aware. To other people, they don't understand it because that's not their way of operating. Even when I don't communicate a lot, like I don't text people for the stupidest things. A lot of people in society tend to just participate in the small talk or this or this or this and carry it on. And I do like a little bit of it because I don't know, like sometimes it is just easier to learn the small talk, and that's just part of what you do. But there gets to a point where I'm like, okay, this is not just being nice anymore. Because when you first interact with someone, you're not going to like go into the depths of something. I mean, you get to know people gradually. So part of it's not fake, but sometimes it is fake. And I'm not going to continue that. Like once I've met you, I'm like, oh, hi, how are you? Like all that stuff. I'm not going to continue that facade of fakeness, because after a point it just becomes fake. Sometimes people do tend to mistaken my inward turn as being just aloof or not caring or unaware. It's just that no, I'm aware. It's just I'm aware of multiple realities at once, and I don't need to obsess and have control over the external reality, because it's like we don't even have control of it anyways. I've seen people in my family, in my life, put material objects before me. I felt like my house was more important to my parents than like me, and it was all about like, okay, this is my house, and everything had to be so tidy and everything had to be so perfect. And for me, that just made me kind of be like, okay, well, I don't understand. Like a house is supposed to be a home, and I felt like a house is supposed to be a place where you can be yourself. But in society, if you have a perfect house, if you have everything together, it's like you are perceived to have everything together. It's not true, because you can have everything externally present beautiful. You can be beautiful. You can have the perfect social media. You can have the perfect host. You can look like you have everything, but internally, you can not know who you are. I really do think this is a case with a lot of people in society. And a lot of people compare themselves to people on the internet that maybe they look perfect or they do this, but maybe that's because they put all of their energy, they've allocated all of their energy into that area of life. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, people can enjoy beautiful things in life. I love beautiful things. But at the same time, I know that most of my energy does not thrive in the external. It thrives off of going inwards. Eventually, when it comes to certain things, my external reflects my internal. But it's not the case with everyone that your external reflects the internal. I think people think that if they operate an internal way, well, everyone's external reflects their internal, like they've done so much internal work to get there, but it's just not true. We only have so much energy in a day. We only have so much energy in general. If I were to focus more on external things in my life, then that would blossom. But I don't. So the thing is, like, when you operate more internally, people don't know how to place you. So they start to look at it as like, oh, there's something wrong with you. They start to look at it as like, you must be deficient. You must be like, have a problem. You must be depressed. Maybe you're not competent for this particular thing because you're not operating in a way that I'm used to. You're not operating in a way that I'm comfortable with. You're not putting on this external show. I also think that many people do have a limited capacity for empathy. So not everyone you interact with or work with has to understand you. I used to think like everyone needed to understand me. Like, why am I gonna have people around that don't get me? But I think that you can just have people from a distance. Like, not everyone is going to have that very, very closeness with you. Actually, like, very few people should have extreme closeness with you. There's not many people in this world, especially if you are a very introspective person, that is going to understand you at your core and make you feel really understood. So sometimes you have to learn to deal with different sorts of people. It doesn't mean you have to like, okay, I'm not going to work with you because you're not like this. For certain opportunities as well, not many people have that luxury to not work with people they don't like. Like, we all have to, in some point of life, work alongside people that we just are completely different from. So sometimes you're going to have differences between people, but you can have differences and still hold space and have empathy for others. But just because you can do that, that doesn't mean someone else can do that as well. What's normalized in society is suppressing emotions. Like, we are taught emotions are weak. We suppress our emotions. Because of that, a lot of people don't have emotional availability with themselves. If someone does not have emotional availability for themselves, they're not going to be able to even have the space, the capacity to question and have empathy for your perspective. Having empathy requires self-awareness. It requires tolerance for discomfort. I used to think that if I showed more empathy for other people, even if like they were mistreating me, and this even happened very, very recently, where someone was clearly trying to manipulate me, I was just like, why is this person acting in this way? And I could tell it was a multitude of things I'm talking about. Like, it was a projection. It was a complete thing about control. It was an attack on myself. They felt threatened by me. They felt triggered by me. They put me in the situation that definitely compromised my safety. Women, more in particular, operate heavily off of safety, and I think this is a man I was dealing with, and a lot of men don't realize the extent of a woman's nervous system and safety. I felt very unsafe in this situation. Now, this was an opportunity I had, and it was a work opportunity, and this person, I just felt like there's something going on here. It was not like this person was trying to like human traffic me or something like this, and this person like made it very clear that they are attracted to me. It was way more extreme than that. I was just rejecting all of this advances, and I was just like, this is like wildly inappropriate. This person started to attack me. I started to cry because I'm very in touch with my emotions, but I am not a reactive person at all. It really takes a lot to trigger me. I really am not emotionally reactive person. I can be completely aware of why this person's doing this, the psychology behind it, and I can be annoyed because of it. I'm like, seriously, like, is this happening? I'm tired of people having ulterior motives. But at the same time, like, I just don't react because it doesn't bother me. How you're acting has nothing to do with me, but it's annoying. Obviously, it's annoying because I'm like, oh my God, I deal with this situation now, and it's just like Like seriously, like why can't people be different? Like why are people like this? It's so annoying. But I can't help it when I cry. Like when I start crying, I literally cannot help it. I'm just such a quiet crier. It shouldn't bother other people. I'm just keeping to myself. I always like try to hide it, but I just can't control it. A lot of people say like, oh, like stop crying, stop this. I can't help it. And it's because my body, for one, is trying to self-regulate itself because I don't feel safe. Like my nervous system, like when I realized this situation I was in, my nervous system was like shot. I was like, get the hell out of this situation now. You need to leave the situation, get yourself out of it. But my nervous system was trying to soothe me down because I was in such high alert. I was not consciously aware I was doing this, but subconsciously I was trying to get that person to feel for me, to have empathy. Now I think it was like also, yes, I was trying to regulate my nervous system. It was also this. I wasn't consciously trying to manipulate this person to have empathy for me, but I was trying to get them to have empathy for me. And then I also realized that if this person made you feel unsafe, that you just automatically started crying and you can't like control it, you can't stop it. That's how threatened you're nervous. That's how unsafe you feel right now. This person doesn't give a shit about if you're crying or not. Like if this person caused you that unsafeness, they don't give a shit about you. They care about what they can take from you. And if they're not getting what they want and they feel rejected in a multitude of things, this is triggering the hell of this person, and they're not going to have empathy for you. And I said, and I wrote this thing down, empathy is not contagious to those that are not willing to feel it. And it's so true. I think a lot of humans do have empathy, but I run into people that it seems like, okay, why are people so evil? And I've run into so many people, it feels like, where I'm like, they don't have a soul. And I realize is that they can maybe empathize for other people that go through certain things that they can understand. Being complex, going through something where it's completely opposing, they're not going to have empathy for that because they can't even understand it. How are they going to empathize and feel for something they have no idea what it's like to feel? So that was another thing. I was like, okay, well, showing more vulnerability or showing more humanness is not going to make other people more human. I actually realized it kind of has the opposite effect, because they will start to actually have more control, and you might start to see a more violent or abruptive side of, or just more monstrous side of a person. They start to be more controlling, and they might start to even use words to paint you more as like, oh, you were such a problem, because they're trying to grip it and they're trying to have control over the situation. When you are showing emotions and you are showing you're clearly upset by something, you're upset by this person, they don't want to admit responsibility and they don't want to feel like the bad person. That's part of it. They don't want to feel like the bad person, so they tried to flip it onto you and act like you were the problem, to have control over the situation. Because this is so different from their way of operating, they start to look at it as different is wrong. A lack of empathy is a unwillingness to sit with discomfort. And when someone is uncomfortable because you are showing this empathy, you are showing this humanness and this vulnerability, what they try to do is soothe the discomfort, right? What soothes this discomfort? Reinforcing control. Another reason people might treat you like you're the problem is because they are projecting. I feel like I'm a mirror for a lot of people. I think there's many reasons why I am a mirror to other people. I feel like I'm at the beginning, I'm easy to talk to. I'm very non-judgmental. I have like strict boundaries because I know like what's right and wrong, and I can't be swayed when it comes to certain things. But I'm also like very, very non-judgmental. People have told me very, very shocking things, and strangers too. Like I've had the most insane conversations on planes about things, and people have told me like I've never told anyone that before. I don't know why I'm opening up to you. And I feel like when you are this just like canvas where you're just open, I think that becomes more like a mirror reflecting back things to themselves. I also think people project onto me more than maybe other people is because maybe I represent some of their unmet desires. I've traveled young and I've taken risk and I believe in myself, and there's certain things that I have within myself the courage to do. I think that there's a lot of people actually much older than me where they've said to me like, oh, well, I wish I've done this and I wish I've done this. I try to make people feel good about themselves and their life and understand, like, try to get them to see like, okay, well, everything happens for a reason. After a few conversations, I find people start to get like threatened or something by me, and then they start to project onto me. I give myself permission to be myself. I give myself permission to not fit into this box. And I think this is like the main core thing of all of this. When you are different, people look at it as dysfunction. They don't know what to place you. We have been taught to fit into this box, but I will never let anyone force me into this box and say I'm this way because I do this, or I'm this way. No, I'm not. I gravitate towards what my soul gravitates towards. And you do have to understand, like, if you are different, and different is not better, it's not worse, it's not wrong. But people do treat different as wrong until you become successful for that difference. This is how society operates. Like, people treat being different as wrong, but being different is beautiful. And I have gotten to a place years ago where I accepted I was different, and I accepted that this was my strength, and this was my superpower, and this was not a weakness. Because when I was younger, I didn't know any better. When I was younger and I was in school, I thought being different was like the worst thing, and it was an attack on myself. But that's what creates all this inner work, to understand, to have such a strong sense of self. When you have such a strong sense of self and you are different and you own it and you give yourself permission unapologetically, people will just have something to say about it. But who gives a shit? It is very frustrating when people do try to paint you out like there's something wrong with you, when you do have a good heart, when you are not affecting anyone. I do what I want to do, but I'm not affecting anyone. If I am in a situation where I am not competent, then that's fine. Like, I would, like, say if I was in a job and I got fired. I've never been in a job where I've got fired, but just say I was, for example, then that's fine if I wasn't competent. But my whole point here is just like, things are just not sometimes like as what they seem. People are not what they seem. And even though there's certain things in society that make it harder, they're not valued. And if people try to paint you in a certain light, you can't control that. There's certain instances where I felt very frustrated that people were painting me out to be a certain way. And I was looking at myself like, I'm not perfect. I'm obviously not perfect when it comes to certain things, but I was looking at myself like, there's no one better to do this job than you. On top of that, you have a really good heart. I was really confused why people did not value that about myself. There's so many incidences where I remember in the past crying because I just felt like this world was so cruel and people did not value what I valued. And that's fine. Like, a lot of people don't value what is the most valuable thing to exist. Whatever. Who cares how people paint you out to be? I think that sometimes it is a blessing in disguise, because you have to innovate and you have to create your own ways because of like certain situations that people will try to torch the flame to get back at you and try to, take away certain situations when you are different. And I think it does make life harder in certain situations, but I think that's the test of life. Are you going to be the person that compromises your heart? Are you going to be the person that compromises everything but your heart and your soul? For me, I would compromise everything. I don't care how many times I have to start over. When it comes to me, that's what I value, and that's the core of who I am. I could not understand why certain things were happening to me. I think there is such a high correlation between if you do have a more internal rootedness in that connection with yourself, and you do have that inner peace, and you do have that love, and you have a good heart. I do think you are more of a target to other people. And if someone is not understanding that, if someone sees something or this person says something about you, there's so many times people have said things about me and that it's just not true. I've always wondered, why am I such a target? Why am I being attacked? I just never understood why I was being attacked when I am the best person I've ever met. There's certain things that I can't do, and there's certain jobs that other people would be able to do way better than me. But when it comes to who I am, I'm the best person I've ever met. I've never understood, I've just never understood why people not only didn't value that, but now I get it. I get that they saw that and that they were threatened by it. And so they had to bring me down. That's what they had to do to make themselves feel better, because I had something that they never had. And it's a cruel reality about life. And being the common denominator about something does not mean you are the problem. I've been treated like the problem, and I'm so sick of it because I know I'm not the problem. And this isn't from a delusional sense. Like, you can have something repeatedly happen to you, be the common denominator, but you are not the problem of the evil. You just reflect it back to people. Honestly, I'm really glad that I explored this because I feel a little bit more confident. Like, I always knew, like, okay, I was not the problem, but I kind of felt embarrassed. I'm like, well, other people are going to perceive me as this because these things keep happening. Like, if I keep telling people some of these situations I've been in and how people treat me, they might start to look at me like I'm the problem. But now I don't care. I understand the psychology now. I understand why this is happening to me and why I am the common denominator. And now I also understand that like, if I cry in the future, if I feel unsafe in a situation, if someone's like attacking me and I cry, oh my god, it's natural to do that, I feel like. But I'm not going to give them a rise, because people like that, like, they are happy to see you cry. Like, they actually like it, which is so messed up to me. But I don't want to give them the satisfaction of that. Like, I don't want to give them any ammunition and to contribute to their evilness. I feel like I don't need to question these things anymore. And I am very, like, protective of myself and rooted in myself. And if someone, wants to attack me, then they can. I can't do anything about it. You cannot control how people treat you. You can control your reactions. I think that means, for me, I am not going to expend empathy. I feel like this also gave me some relief because it made me realize on a deeper level that it's not a reflection of my value. Listen, like, I know that this is not a reflection of my value. Like, someone else's projection has nothing to do with me. I did feel a little bit weird because of it, but it's just not a reflection of your value. Anyways, I really hope this helps someone not feel so alone, because I'm not the only one that's been a target. That's what it is. Like, I've literally been a target. And if you just feel misunderstood in life and you don't fit into this box and someone is trying to attack you and you're running into situations where you're like, okay, I know I'm not the problem, I'm not doing anything here, but people keep treating me like this, or they're trying to fix me, or they're trying to shame me into this box. Understand, you're just triggering people. You are the trigger point because you're a mirror, or you're whatever it is. There's so many different ways that it can trigger people into treating you in such a way. And if someone doesn't understand it, then they're not meant to be close to you. And who cares if someone doesn't understand it?